and welcome in to be our guest. And my guest today is somebody with what I want to call a winning smile. This is the new police chief for the city of Montgomery, Darryl Albert, and you came to us from New Orleans.
I came to you from New Orleans.
Did I say that right? I said it right.
Said it right.
That's because I love going there.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, welcome to Montgomery. You've been in the job now, what, about 4 months?
About 3 months.
3 months.
Just shy of 3 months.
That's great. That's great. So how do you like Montgomery so far?
Well, I'll tell you, Montgomery's a beautiful city.
Isn't it nice?
Beautiful people.
Yes.
And a lot of hospitality here. So I really, really am enjoying my time here at Montgomery as I meet people day in and day out, no matter which four corners of the city I go to. It's been a great reception.
That's great.
Yeah.
You brought family here with you?
Yes.
Good. So now everybody's kind of getting settled in?
Getting settled in.
Good.
You know, it's
Good.
it takes time. Of course, moving is a big deal.
Yes.
Especially when you've been in one place for a very long time. So it's a slow process, but I'm enjoying it.
That's great. Well, obviously, number one on everybody's mind normally is crime. And sadly to say, you spend most of your time dealing with crime.
You know, that's my job.
Yes.
And, back when this position came available, one of the things that Mayor Reed and I talked about was his commitment to public safety. And there was no doubt that the mayor's commitment to public safety was number one. And, as I looked at my 32-year career in New Orleans and, what I learned and what I garnered from my time there in New Orleans and, the things I've done as part of a federal consent decree in the police department in New Orleans and how I can take those lessons learned and bring it to another municipality that needs a good leader. Montgomery just really stood out. Progressive city, a city that has similar issues like New Orleans, a good southern city, just 280 miles west of here, but similar in a lot of ways. And I looked at Montgomery as a great opportunity to come and do some of the things that I've learned over my 32-year policing career.
So your police force right now is what, at about the 500 mark?
Just shy of the 500 mark. Of course, nationwide is issues with hiring and retention.
Yes.
We have a plan for that. One of the things I came in the door with was a plan for hiring and retention. And of course, the mayor and his administration have been very supportive of giving us what we need to make that happen. So I'm very happy with that. We continue to grow the department. We have an academy starting this week. Good. We just graduated an academy last week, but it's a slow process. Again, nationwide, there's shortages of police officers and
the shortages
just general
of people
workforce,
in general. That's right.
Workforce, but
yes.
law enforcement is unique, and who we can get to do this kind of work, who's got the commitment, the backing, and the stamina to do this type of work. So it's never ending process for hiring and retention. But again, we have a plan for that, and we're working it very diligently.
And you came into a very good police force here that was already in place, even though short-staffed, but everybody in place. Because again, this is a small city. You are involved with the police on a daily basis. Every one of them is top-notch.
It's good to hear. When I hear that, I like to talk a little bit more about that. This police department is CLEAR accredited. That's a national accreditation.
Yes.
And in 2018, they applied for accreditation. 2019, they were granted accreditation, and they've been accredited since. That's only 5% of the police departments nationwide that's accredited. Montgomery Police Department is an accredited agency. And I'm very proud of that, and we want to continue that.
So what do you have to do to get that designation?
Well, there's over 150 standards that must be met on the national level. And I tell you, they bring in teams and they scrutinize and they look at every single thing. And I can tell you this, they don't give you anything. You must earn every single bit of accreditation. So I am proud. I was part of New Orleans when they went to accreditation in 1994. Again, 5% of the departments across the country are accredited, and Montgomery being accredited says a lot for the men and women that work here.
What do you think are the major problems that beset the department right now? Is it shortage of people, or are you getting good community support?
So the huge problem, and we talked about this just a minute ago, is hiring and retention.
Yes.
We got folks that they love law enforcement. I mean, when you come into law enforcement, it's a culture. It's not just a job for
It's
anyone.
a calling.
It's a calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, getting folks to come in and letting them know that there's a future here in law enforcement. Because, look, I started out working the street, answering calls for service, writing traffic accidents, writing traffic
Yep.
tickets, doing
Yep.
the things that beat cops do.
Yes.
And there's a future. I look at my team, I look at my executive team, I look at my managers, my supervisors, my sergeants, my corporals. They've moved up. They started at the bottom and they moved up. So there's a future in law enforcement, for those who want to take that challenge, and we welcome them. On our website, we have all the particulars about how to become a Montgomery Police Department officer. We have bumper stickers we're putting on our vehicles. You're gonna see some billboards up. You're gonna see some growth in terms of recruitment, and we want folks to take that challenge. And what we see here in law enforcement as the biggest challenge here in the city of Montgomery is, of course, what we see nationwide, and that's the violent crime. I'm very proud to say that the men and women in our investigations department and the beat cops are doing a fantastic job when it comes down to solving crimes, but we're going to do a little bit better on preventing crimes, and that's where the community can help.
And then we also need to do a good job of keeping the ones that commit the crimes away from coming back into society until they have got themselves straight.
We all should be accountable for the actions
Yes,
we take.
absolutely.
And that's exactly what you're saying. We have to make folks accountable
Good.
For the actions they take. And if they choose to violate the law, then we have something for that. I've said from day one, kind on community, tough on crime. That's what we need to be. That's the stance I take.
Yes.
That's the stance this department takes. And we will continue to do that.
Well, congratulations on the new job. Congratulations on coming to Montgomery, Alabama. We're here to help you. And just remember this. Police officers do a lot of sacrificing day to day to do the job they do to protect you. Do what you can to help them. And we'll be right back right after this.